it's Georgia Workers' Compensation and Personal Injury Attorney Jack Clay, and today I'd like to talk to you about appeals in workers' compensation cases. I was arguing an appeal before the State Board of Workers' Compensation yesterday, and as I was driving home, I thought that I'd share some important points with you and some things for you to understand if you or a loved one has been injured and you're wondering about the complicated appellate process in a workers' compensation case. Thanks for joining me. First, workers' compensation appeals are not like appeals in other civil cases such as car accidents and other personal injury matters. And here's what I mean. When you have a workers' compensation hearing, it's done before an administrative law judge in a setting that is not a state or superior court. It's done at the State Board of Workers' Compensation or at various other locations throughout the state, and the appeals process is different. You don't appeal directly to the Court of Appeals or to the Georgia Supreme Court as you would do in a criminal or a civil case that is being tried in state or superior court. So there's a much different system, and that's another reason why you really need to have an attorney on your side if you're dealing with an appeal in these cases, because it can be confusing and you could take a wrong step if you're not careful. Second, there are 4 distinct levels of appeal in a Georgia workers' compensation case. As I told you a minute ago, when you first have your hearing before an administrative law judge, the next level of appeal is to the State Board of Workers' Compensation. This is a 3-judge panel that hears appeals throughout the year and they decide cases. After that, you have the right to appeal your case to the Superior Court level, which is usually in the county in which the injury happened. After that, the appeals process can get a little more confusing, because to try to get to the Georgia Court of Appeals, you have to do what we call a discretionary review process, which means the Court of Appeals has to actually look at and accept or decide that your appeal is worth them hearing, which doesn't happen in most cases. The statistics show that the discretionary appeals in workers' compensation cases and across the board are granted in a low percentage of cases. Then you can try to appeal your case to the Georgia Supreme Court if all else fails. But again, they don't have to take your case either, and they have to affirmatively or they have to directly choose which cases they want to hear. Our office is here to serve you or to answer your questions should you have them. We offer free consultations and we have convenient office hours. Thanks for joining me.